Hello, my friend. I'm Cookie Rosenblum, your master weight loss coach and author, and I am here to help you stop overeating. If one of your goals was to take care of yourself and end your overeating, I want you to imagine waking up one day and not hating the journey, not dreading your day, not looking forward to doing what you now consider hard things. Today, we're going to work on doing your work on Project You, not only without hating every step, but actually loving it. Let us do this. This is episode 280, How to Love Your Weight Loss Journey. Before we start, a quick reminder to make sure you are on my email list to know all the things I'm cooking up for you and to get my free training, How to Stop Overeating in 3 Steps. You can get the link in the show notes or go to weightlossmadreal.com/3steps, number 3, because yes, you need to stop overeating if weight loss is your goal. Okay, today we're going to talk about loving your weight loss journey, and I think I see you rolling your eyes. But I'm going to tell you why you don't love it now and why it seems so hard, and how to make it easier and lighter, how to make it feel better for yourself. What if you could love your weight loss journey? What if you woke up and didn't dread another day being you? Another day of fighting with yourself, another day of trying to keep your promises to yourself and failing, another day of wondering what you're doing wrong and gritting your teeth and clenching your fists and pushing yourself to do things you really don't want to do, things you think are hard. If you've been struggling with your weight and your overeating habits, then it's probably hard to believe. I hear you. It's hard to believe that it could be easier. When I talk about loving your weight loss journey, I'm talking about not being so stressed about your eating, what you ate, what you didn't eat, whether you were good or bad, not hating yourself when you fall down and make a mistake and don't keep your promises to yourself. So today we're going to take a look at how you think about your journey and what could make it easier. My first question to you is, how do you feel right now about doing this work on your Project You? If you're like most members who work with me in the Freedom Group, when they first come in, you probably look at the work like it's this terrible burden that you have to bear. Like life is not fair and it shouldn't be so hard. And you might wonder why you struggle and women that you know, some of them don't. You probably ponder why every day starts off optimistically for you and ends the same way, with you going back to the same old eating habits that you've always had. If this describes you, I want you to step back and look at what these types of thoughts are creating for you. They create the feeling of doubt about yourself and your abilities. They decrease your optimism about ever getting where you want to go. And they create insecurity that you can solve any problem. If you think that your past lack of success at stopping overeating predicts your future, then you probably believe that if you couldn't solve it in the past, you probably won't solve it in the future. These kinds of thoughts will do several things for you, and they're not good. First, they're going to make your journey feel hard. And second, they're going to make your efforts feel fruitless, like they'll never pay off. What's the point? And last, they'll make you not love and appreciate and enjoy your days. You think you feel this way because of the overeating habits that you're doing, what you just ate. But what you do and what you eat are just facts. They don't make you feel good or bad. It's your judgmental thoughts about yourself in between the eating and how you feel. It's those thoughts that make it all feel so hard. And they make it feel hard not in an exciting, challenging way like, oh, this is going to be challenging and I can't wait to tackle it. It's probably more like, I want to change my eating habits, but I'm really dreading it. It's going to be so hard and so much work. I hate doing this and thinking about it so much, but I have no choice. Can you imagine what your mood will be like if you think these things regularly? And I'm guessing that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, what if you stopped hating your journey? If you hear me and you think, well, I can't possibly not hate what I have to do every day to work on myself. If you're thinking that, you are wrong. It might be too unbelievable to you if you hate tackling all the tasks on your weight loss journey right now, that you should leap from hating them to loving them. I get it. But we don't go all the way to the end so quickly. We start by taking baby steps, not only in what we do, but in how we think. We take baby steps and learn to think more neutrally about your journey until you're able to work your way up to being excited about the challenge that you face. So I'm asking you now to suspend your disbelief for a moment that you might not hate this work, and think about what result you could get if you could be compassionate to yourself and enjoy yourself and the journey. It might look like you having more patience with your inevitable fails in the learning process. It might be that you'd be more neutral about what actual change might require for you, because you'd just be looking at the facts of what you need to do without labeling them as too hard or too overwhelming. And maybe you'd be able to play detective with yourself and just neutrally decide that, yep, you're going to figure this out. Now, I want you to put on your brainstorming hat with me and solve this. We know where you're starting, right? We know what your most common daily thoughts about your journey are. The ones that lead you to feel dread and overwhelm. It's too hard. I shouldn't have to do this. Now, I want you to imagine what thoughts you might want to think instead on purpose to change the journey from dreaded to loving, to feeling good. These would be the kind of thoughts that make you feel excited, that make you feel patient, and thoughts that make you feel confident that, yes, you can figure this out. One of the first things I want you to reframe is why you're doing this Project You work in the first place. If you are carrying extra weight and some disorganized eating habits, you might assume that you have to do it. You have to stop overeating and lose weight. But the truth is, you don't have to. Ask yourself why you think you have no choice about this. Why? Because you need to do it to be acceptable? Acceptable to who? To yourself? So here's a reframe for you. You are 100% acceptable right now. You're doing this Project You because you want to take yourself up to another level of how you live your life, because it feels good to learn new things and live in an easier, more fulfilling way, to spend less time thinking about eating and the number on the scale, to be free and to end the struggle. So beware of saying or thinking, I have to do this. You don't have to do this. You get to do this. It is a privilege to have a roof over your head and food to eat and enough money to pay your basic bills and have energy left over to work on lifting yourself up in your life. That's what this work is doing for you. The thought you're looking for really is, I get to work on Project Me, not I have to. Nothing is wrong with you. You're just moving up from where you are. When you work on Project You, you're up leveling yourself in areas like how you care for your body, how you eat, how you manage all those different moods, and how you make self-care a regular, non-negotiable part of your life. So you can start out with a thought like, I get to work on this project. And then when you fall down, which of course you will, because you're learning new things, then you'll need more new thoughts. When you fail, you can think, how fascinating. I wonder why I just did that. I'm going to look at what happened and see what led me to do that. When you have a habit that you're trying to lose and replace with a new habit, it's going to involve a bunch of fails, because a habit makes it easier for you to keep doing the old thing instead of the new thing. So instead of being upset with yourself as you slip into the old habit and think, see, I knew I couldn't do this, instead you can think, wow, look how strong my brain is. I must have trained it really well to do this habit. Now that I don't want this habit anymore, I just need to retrain it to do a new habit. If you doubt that you can weaken an old habit and install a new one, I want to suggest that you look at your life and ask yourself, what are some of the things that I do now that I once didn't know how to do and I had to learn, things that didn't come naturally? You're not born reading or driving a car or using a computer. You learn those things, right? That means you can simply learn what you need to do to become a natural eater. If you're trying to stop an unhelpful habit, you could look at your past again and remember, what did I used to do that wasn't helpful that I no longer do today? Maybe you used to smoke or procrastinate or spend too much money, and now you don't. Use that evidence of what you're capable of to remind yourself that you've already made changes, and making these eating changes is no different. If it feels like the road ahead of you is long, let's say you have a lot of unhelpful habits, or maybe you have a lot of weight that you want to lose, then I suggest reminding yourself of things that you've already accomplished and think, I have overcome so much, and this is no different. Maybe you grew up in a less than loving home, and yet you created a solid family life for yourself, or a good friendship, or a loving partnership. Look what you accomplished. Look what you created. You can create a new relationship with food also. And isn't that exciting? And doesn't that feel hopeful? Truly, there are no limits to what you can learn and what you can create and what you can change if you think about these things with thoughts that make you feel good instead of bad. Your work on Project You will just keep showing you what's possible. And if you stay on this path, you'll be amazed at where you end up. And besides creating new results in how you eat and live your life, you're creating feelings of pride and confidence, and you'll have a solid knowledge that you're in charge of you. Those feelings, priceless, my friend. Now, when you look at changing your eating habits, and maybe if you want to change your weight, I want you to look at that not as a separate thing. Like you have your life on one side, and then on the other side, you have a weight loss project. I want you instead to look at your life as a whole, that this is just one part of your life, one part of the puzzle. So if your journey was part of a larger puzzle, how could it feel better? And let me ask you this, why do you want it to feel better? Well, first, because if it feels better, you're more likely to stick with it until you get what you want. And second, if you hate the whole journey and you think you'll be happy when you finally get there, you won't. The journey needs to feel good all along so that the end point, the goal, is just a continuation of what you've been doing. You feel good along the way and you feel good there. There is not this magical place that's so much better than now. So you need to feel good now and then. What if fun made the work easier? I'm guessing again that you don't think fun can be a part of working on an area of your life like eating and weight. But what if it could? What if you could look for ways to make your daily steps toward your goals easier and just more enjoyable? You can if you think about it that way. So how could you look at your work on yourself in a totally different way? You start seeing your work as a privilege that you have, that you get to work on you. You see it as a part of growing into a new identity, which is the way you think about yourself. You get to imagine who you're capable of being, what version of you, and then you create her. What if you looked at the problem solving that you use to become a natural leader and stop struggling as just another set of valuable skills? And the more you use those skills, the easier it would be to solve any problem. And then could you think of ways to make it more fun? Of course. This is what is possible for you. Doesn't it sound better than waking up each day and thinking about the huge mountain that you need to climb and all the things that you'll have to give up to get where you want to go? I hope that I've inspired you a little bit today to look at why you think ending overeating and losing weight is such a hard, overwhelming, and dreaded task, and see that there are just so many better ways of approaching it. Creating new thoughts that serve you is rewarding and stimulating. New thoughts give you new opportunities to grow into the woman who doesn't spend so many hours lamenting about her weight and how hard it is to change. Doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that hard. With a different way of approaching your journey, think about where your journey will take you. What will it look like for you? Isn't it more exciting to imagine it that way? And what are some of the things you'll get to do and learn along the way? Remember, pleasure along the way, not just at the end when you are the magical number on the scale. You'll be working on things like clearing your path, learning about your past and what habits got you where you are today. You'll learn how to reconnect with your body, a skill that you were born with but lost somehow. You'll be learning to challenge your thoughts, things you think and believe that just are not true, but they're habits. And you'll learn how to replace those old thoughts with thoughts that you intentionally choose. Imagine that. You'll work on creating great habits and choosing new ways to look at things, even if you've looked at things like you do now your whole adult life. And finally, you're going to work on seeing the value of cherishing yourself, you loving you all the time, no matter what the scale says, no matter how many slips you've had. That's the foundation you create before you can receive love from others. So you'll go from hating the journey to enjoying and feeling challenged by the journey. So tomorrow, you're going to wake up. Same you, right? Same person, same body, same weight, same goals. But if what I'm saying right now makes sense to you, you can wake up tomorrow and approach your Project You with interest, love, concern, and a spirit of determination. And this will feel so much better. All right, you know what you're going to think about this week. How can you make this journey feel better? Make sure that you've downloaded your starting point to stopping overeating, that free training on how to stop overeating in 3 steps at weightlossmadereal.com/3steps. This training uses my Eat, Think, Love method that I've used to help thousands of women use the combined power of coaching and psychology and brain science to change how they eat and to get the results they want, and ultimately to be free from the whole struggle. This is my gift to you. For now, this is your Coach Cookie, reminding you that as you search for answers, keep it real, just like you. And I will see you next week.